Hello and welcome to a new tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to use Livesplit for Metal Gear MSX on PC and for the PC Access 2 emulator. For that we're going to show you also how to use the Autosplitter that I developed. And at the end I will also show you how you can use ASL VAR Viewer to get even more insights into the game to have a better speedrun experience. Let's begin. First off, we want to download Livesplit. Just go to livesplit.org/downloads. The link is also in the video description down below, included with the other two links. Get the latest Livesplit version here. This number can be higher later, and download it. Once it's done downloading, you can open it. Now that you have it open here, we're going to minimize the Firefox window, and I'm going to make a new folder on my desktop. You can use this folder anywhere you want. You can use it in your documents. I'm just currently making this for this tutorial here on my desktop. I'm calling it Speedrun, for example, and have it being created. Open the folder and copy everything in here. Though I would recommend making another folder inside here on a Livesplit, because I want to add also another folder just for the Metal Gear splits. Go in here. So inside Livesplit and copy everything over. And there we go. You can also make a desktop connection here by just right click in this livesplit.exe file, create shortcut, take this shortcut and put it on your desktop like so. You can rename it. And there you go. Now that we have Livesplit, we just need to get the Autosplitter for it as well. Close this folder, and let's go back to Firefox. Now we want to take a look at my GitHub here for the Autosplitter release. There are plenty of files here, and I would recommend you download them via the releases. Just click releases, and you can always see the latest release here on top. Download the livesplit_ASL_MGX1-v1.3.zip. Go back to your desktop folder, open Speedrun. I'm making a new folder here just for organization and calling it Metal Gear. Now that with the Metal Gear folder here, I'm going to take everything from here and copy this over. Now there's a bunch of files here. Don't worry, you just need one. The metalgear.asl. That is the key file. Now that we have this, open Livesplit. And there we go. This is Livesplit. Now, usually it looks different. And that is because we have no splits loaded yet. You can either right-click, edit splits, and then get your name from here and add the category here, or you can use the basic template that I added here. Metal Gear MSX 80%, for example. Just drag and drop it on top of Livesplit here, and it will automatically load in your standard set. You check in edit splits now, it will say Metal Gear MSX and 80% RTA, for example. Under additional info, you can also set it according to the category that you want to run. Important here is the subcategory, of which we have a few for 80%. And I'm going to show you today PS2 PAL as an example. Now, Livesplit here has all the names of the splits that I give with the template, but it will not split yet. For that, we need to add the Autosplitter to the layout. So right-click, edit layout, and then here, add plus and control. What we want to have is a scriptable Autosplitter. Double click that entry, and here now you want to add the script path. The script path is the path that leads you to Metal Gear ASL. So we'll be on desktop, speedrun, and then inside Metal Gear there's the Metal Gear.asl file. Double click it or single click it, then open it, and now it gets added. It will also automatically on load start its settings. You can set all these check marks if you want. Each of these check marks is a different split point. You can also split when the game ends, which is what I would recommend. So at least start and end split is here. And of course, you can also split when you beat the bosses and many, many more options. These standard splits, if you have messed with it, for example, you click this, the standard splits are always reset here by going reset to default. And all these split files are set up so they will always work with the default setting here. From then on, of course, you can mix and match. You can make more splits or less splits, however you want. Now just click OK, and there we go. You can close this window and put Livesplit to the side here. Now we'll open the emulator and show you how it works. In this example here, we have Metal Gear MSX run on the PS2 PAL or European version. And just as we added the Autosplitter file, as soon as we go to easy and start the run, it should also start the splitter. So let's see if it works. There we go. We just started start, and then the timer goes. Now currently the timer is set to the RTA. If you go right click, compare again, so you can see it's set to real time. This is usually what we do if we run this game. There's also one category called any percent IGT. For that, you want to compare to the game time. Now on the surface, Metal Gear MSX is a special game where it does usually continue to run its IGT alongside with the RTA. Unless you die. So if you go here quickly, if I turn on turbo here, you can see as soon as we die, we then continue, the IGT gets reset to the last checkpoint. This is different if you continue and compare against real time. Real time should always continue to run, as we can see here. Now, does it also split? Well, let's just simply go into this elevator and see. There we go. We entered the elevator and it will split on this checkpoint change. Now, there's a few things we can do with the layout. As you can see here, these are actually sub-splits. There are main splits which don't have a minus and sub-splits which do have a minus. If you want to make this look a little bit nicer, you want to actually use the sub-splits in the layout. For that, go into Layout Editor and go to Splits. Remove it with minus, and on plus, go to List and add Subsplits. With the arrows, you can take it to the top. And now you can see, aha! The minus are gone, and you can also scroll through and see there are now like folders for segments. There are main segments, which will always be visible, and subsegments, which will only be visible if you are in the part of this main segment. And this is done via the minus and not minus setting. You can also say a subsplit name and make that also a name for a main segment using the squiggly brackets. This is everything you need if you just want to speedrun the game and have it split automatically. But there's something else you can do as well. You can also read out game data and have it shown in your Livesplit layout, such as the health of Snake, so you don't need to guess anymore what this number is. For that, we need to install the ASLVAR viewer component. See, the thing is, the Autosplitter does not just split automatically. As you can see here on the main page, it gives you a list of supported games, and we can tell you how to check this later. It also gives you data that you can read out and add to your Livesplit layout if you want, such as the current rank that you have, to know if you're still on Big Boss pace, for example, the class, New Game or New Game Plus, the location you're in, for example, and many, many more information that you can get from this, such as your current rank relevant data for saves, continues, alerts, kills, and rations used. How do we get this data on a Livesplit? For that, we need to get the ASLVAR viewer. This has been not further developed since 2016, but it's also very simple. Download it here with the livesplit.aslvarviewer.ui.zip and then put it in your folder. So just open your speedrun folder here, and go to Livesplit, go to components, and then drag and drop this file into your components folder like this. Now we need to close Livesplit once, exit, and you can make saves if you want. For the split files, we have not changed it. For the layout, we changed a few things, so we want to save them. And then inside Metal Gear, you can call it, for example, Metal Gear Layout. When we relaunch Livesplit, now under Edit Layout, Plus, and Information, we now have ASLVAR Viewer as a new component. Let's add one and double click it. Here's how it looks like. We currently have a variable that we can read out, and we can give it a label so we know what it stands for. In this instance, we want to show health. And we're going to take a look at current state. There are two different versions that we can do. Current state is basically read out directly from the game. Variables are information that I, as the developer of the Autosplitter, have given you, such as parsing data and tell you in the end if it's a new game or new game plus run. The most interesting variable is the 100% completion. If you want to do runs of the 100% category and you're running on emulator, I recommend using this one. You can even watch individually if you've beaten all the bosses, saved the POWs and so on, and even more data. Quite fun stuff, some not really necessary for speedrunning, but I can definitely recommend if you do 100% category, for example, use this 100% completion variable. Now, we want to take a look at the health. The health is on a current state. Now, don't be surprised, there's a lot of data here. As you can see, there's 4 different versions that we use that support the PCXX2 emulator. But there's also a main set of variables. As you can see here, these don't have a prefix like J, US, and EU, but are general ones. And these are the ones that don't change. So if you play the NTSC-J version, or if you play the PS2 PAL version, if you pick, for example, health here, it will always show the health. If you pick EU health, it will only show the variable if you play on the PS2 PAL version. So I'd recommend always scroll down to the end and then add what you want. In that point, it will be just health. There you go, it's health and health. Then we can see here, there's a new field which will tell us health, which is currently set to 0. Now, if we start a new run, it not only does change here and show us our real time, it will also show us the accurate health for Snake. We start in the beginning with 24 points and then increase it by 8 per class change, so that we have 48 at the end. We can test this if we quickly take damage. Oops, for example here. There you go, we got shot, and each shot on easy difficulty takes 4 points of health from us. So we're now at 16 points of health. You can do this for all kinds of things, as I said. You have an overview here on my GitHub page of the Autosplitter. Once again, it is linked in the video description down below. So take a look here and you can see a few explainers for it as well. You can even see your ammo count, which could be interesting for some people. Now, here's some troubleshooting help. If you don't know if your game is part of the supported games here, you can easily also read that out from the VAR viewer. If you go here, edit layout, and add 2 more ASL VAR viewers, you can get one current state, which is the region code. The second one is the current state for disk number. So even if your disk is maybe not supported by a splitter, PCXX2 will always tell you which version of the game it is. So just load it in your PCXX2, right? And then add these 2 variables. And then you can see, okay, is this game supported from the Autosplitter? I'm currently playing the PS2 PAL version that I own. And this is the SLES 82043 release. As you can see here, there it is, Metal Gear Free Substance PAL SLES 82043. If your game version is not on here, feel free to contact me and I will try to add it to the supported list. Or you can look up for one of these and then dump it yourself, make your own backup, then play this one on the emulator. And that's really all there is to it. I have an example here how my live split looks like. So I have my splits here, I got world record information, I got 2 timers here, one for IGT, one for RTA, and many more data, such as, for example, my completion rate, my health, and even subsegments of the completion. As you can see, as I start the game here, it will also start launching, and you can directly see the state of my game. Very useful tools, especially if you're not just doing any percent. If you're doing 100%, for example, it is very useful to use this tool. And also in some cases for the category extensions, such as all trucks or all pits. And I personally would recommend having both IGT and RTA time on here, so you know what's up. See here, if I quickly die, You can see the top timer is the IGT, so when I turbo, of course, the IGT runs faster than RTA. And we can also see later in the category, when we do the def farm, we can see the RTA individually continue from the IGT. And just to explain it, because people don't know, there are two different splits that show you timer. One is timer, that's the top one, and then there's detail timer, which has the main timer plus a segment timer. So currently we're on the first segment, and it is basically the same. If you go to the next segment and then go into the elevator, it will only show the time of the F2 segment. Go like here, we quickly change. It also shows your best time in this individual segment. I really don't know where I'm going. There we go. So if you go forward, there you go. It restarts and shows you the time that you currently have in your current segment. Quite useful. I personally like it. And yeah, that has basically been it. How to set up the Autosplitter for Metal Gear MSX. It supports the GOG PC release and the PCXS2 emulator with 4 different game regions. In the future, I hope I will add also more for the actual MSX computer support, but that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, sound them out in the comments down below. And I will see you all hopefully on the leaderboards. Thanks for watching.